Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Savage Nation. I'm making a commitment to you right now. I have my hand on a Bible, as in the old days in America, in a court of law. And I swear to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. I will begin my radio show every day from today on like this. I am putting my hand on my Bible. I promise to tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And now I want to read you something. We are at war. They are at war with us. We are playing defense. They're laughing at the sissies who run America and run Europe. They're laughing at the sissies who run America and run Europe. They're laughing at the sissies who are afraid to kill them. They're laughing at the sissies who sit in rooms in Pensacola with video machines firing missiles at them and won't even launch an army against them when we know where they are. They're laughing at us from their mosques in Hamburg and in London. They're laughing at us from their mosques all over the West because they know that we're afraid to touch them because they know that they are the sacred cow. But I will read you something stronger than a press release from the Department of Homeland Security. I will read you from 2 Samuel from the Old Testament. The God of Israel said, the Rock of Israel spoke to me, ruler over men shall be the righteous, even as he that ruleth in the fear of God. And as the light of the morning when the sun riseth, a morning without clouds, when through clear shining after rain the tender grass springeth out of the earth. For is not my house established with God for an everlasting covenant? He hath made with me ordinate all things and sure for all my salvation, all my desire. Listen to the rest of this. Will he not make it grow? Will the ungodly, they are as thorns, thrust away all of them, for they cannot be taken with the hand. But the man that toucheth them must be armed with iron and the staff of a spear, and they shall be utterly burned with fire in their place. Read your Bible. It wasn't written by Walt Disney. Our God is a vengeful God, not a peace-loving God. Our God is not a she. Our God is not a she-male. Our God is not a nice God. He's a mean God. He's a wrathful God. And if you forget our God is a wrathful God, what you get is the devil in his place. And our enemy knows this. They know that we're running the enemy. Did you hear what I said to you? We're come in and out of a mosque in Hamburg and go back to Krapistan to train, and then they come back ready to kill you at your airport, and we don't even know have the guts to stop them because the law says you can't? And you wonder why we're sitting here like this, waiting to be hit, instead of hitting them first and hitting them so hard that they don't have the capacity to hit back? You don't know how to fight a war? How come your father knew how to fight a war? How come your grandfather knew how to fight a war? How come your grandfather was willing to enlist in the U.S. Air Force and fly in a B-17 on a suicide mission? Don't tell me only the Japanese had kamikaze pilots. Every one of the missions in World War II to the 90th percentile was a suicide mission. But the boys went up there and they did it because they loved America. And take a look at this country today. You won't even name the enemy. You sit here quaking in your boots. We know who they are. We know where they train. And I tell you, I will tell you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Again, by radical Islam. They threaten us, and we sit here in a panic with diarrhea in our pants. Instead of striking them first and striking them hard in the terror camps and wiping them off the planet, we sit here quaking in our boots. And we listen to Homeland Security say, get ready to be hit again. We listen to this invisible CIA under whatever his name is, Panetta on a cooking show 3 weeks ago. The head of the CIA was on a cooking show trying to show he was a nice guy, a kind of friendlier image, when the exact opposite is what the enemy needs right now. Listen to me. Over the weekend, I had a satori, an understanding, a deep one, and here it is. It's about deep conservatism versus small conservatism, big C, little c. You see, back in the 60s, just when the environmental movement was getting underway, there was a movement to clean up trash along the highways, clean up the streets and the roads, to pick up the dirt. Now, the people who cleaned up the trash on the sides of the highway were well-meaning, and they called themselves ecologists. And later on, there emerged a much more serious movement of environmentalists, and for good or for bad. And they wanted to go beyond just fixing superficial environmental problems. They wanted to try and rid the toxins from foods and waters. And many of them did a very good job up to a point. Sure, they overdid it in some areas, as we all know. But they understood it was more than just garbage on the side of a highway that had to be cleaned up in order to save mankind and save the planet. And these environmentalists called themselves deep ecologists, and they were doing what was known as deep ecology. Today we have the same thing in politics. We have conservatives with a little c like Hannity, O'Reilly, and Limbaugh. These are all little c conservatives. What they are doing is cleaning up the trash left on the sides of the roads by the liberals. But then there are deep conservatives with a big C who are going after the systemic problems, the root of the problems, the source of the toxins caused by the liberals and liberalism. And remember, there's a big difference between a little c and a big C. Little conservatives and deep conservatives, as I have spelled out on this show on a regular basis for 16 years. And it all comes to a head in my new book, Trickle Up Poverty, where the true deep conservatism that I am talking about is spelled out for future generations. And I'm asking you to do something. I need you to go to bookstores tomorrow and to demand a copy from the clerk. The Savage Army is being called upon. I am asking you to act to stop the Democrats before it is too late. I'm Michael Savage. I'll be right back. Well, I threw the fire and brimstone at you, and I think many of you got frightened because you'd rather have something softer. I understand that. I truly understand you're afraid of fire and brimstone, and you're not used to it. We live in a sort of Jerry Springer type of world where anybody who asks you a real question is considered a bad guy. Anyone who tells you you're about to get wasted because you're too weak to defend yourself is considered a bad guy. And you'd rather not hear it. You'd rather put your head in the sand. So I'm going to ask you something. We're sitting here quaking in our boots waiting for the radical Muslims to blow us up at an airport or in a department store when we know the jihadists came from a Hamburg, German mosque, and we do nothing. So you're now the head of Homeland Security in the United States of America. You now run Homeland Security in the United States of America. Tell me what your prescription is to prevent another attack. And hold nothing back. Hold nothing back. You know, tomorrow I go on a satellite tour for my new book, Trickle Up Poverty. I got to get up early, which is hard for a guy who does a show late in the day. Roanoke, Virginia, their middle market cities, Wichita, Rochester, Pittsburgh, Fort Myers, Detroit, Tucson, San Diego, Cincinnati, Las Vegas, and Phoenix. Okay? But I have a real question for you, a very important question as I go on tour for Trickle Up Poverty. Should I take Teddy with me? Now, don't laugh. There's a reason for this. Should I bring Teddy the Poodle with me into the studio when I do my interviews? The reason I ask this is, do you think that Teddy will distract from my message or humanize my message? I tried fire and brimstone, and you won't even call a show. You're afraid of it. So what if I bring Teddy into the TV studio, and at the end of each interview, I say this. I ask my assistant to pass me the dog, and I give a tagline which says, Teddy says keep America from going to the dogs by Trickle Up Poverty. Or Teddy says, come on, America, don't roll over for Obama. Or at the end of the interview, Teddy's passed to me, and I hold him, and I wave his hand, and I say, Teddy says, keep the liberals on a short leash by Trickle Up Poverty. So you want to go to the lightweight? You want to go to the lighthearted? You want to go there? I'll go there. I'm asking you a real question. Give me a new tagline for the TV interview with my dog, or do you think it will completely distract from my message of, what is my message? What is my message? What is it, just a book that's put out by Wallbanger or by the Hemorrhoid with nothing in between the covers? It's 110,000 hard words in my book. 110,000 hard words. Let me read you some of the prescriptions in my book for saving America. There are 37 of them. Now compare them to the Republicans, where you don't even remember what they said when they put it out 2 weeks ago. 1, English only. 2, close the borders. 3, defend the borders. 4, defund and repeal Obamacare. 5, reduce the size and scope of government with specifics. With the exception of the military and defense, Michael says, reduce all departments in size by 4% each year for a total reduction of size by 16% over 4 years. Require government employees to speak English and to have achieved at least a high school diploma. That's a shock, isn't it? 6, liquidate TARP. 7, oil for illegals. Get it from Mexico. 8, strike down the anchor babies law. 9, deport jailed illegal aliens. 29% of our prisoners are illegal aliens. As of 2008, our federal, state, and local jails are overcrowded with 2.396 million inmates. Of that number, 29% are illegal aliens. They don't even live here. Yet we're paying an average of $29,000 a year to house, feed, clothe, and entertain them. Send them back to their country of origin. 10 of Michael Savage's prescription to save America. Fire Janet Napolitano. 11, use profiling to prevent terror attacks. Stop arresting Irish nuns at airports. Stop frisking old priests at airports. What are you going to do when you have an enemy who might put himself or his own wife in a burqa, put a live baby inside a carriage and load it with dynamite or C4 explosive and wheel it up to a site and blow it up and blow their own child up, thinking that that child's going to get rewarded by Allah in heaven? Tell me what you're going to do with that kind of enemy. Tell me how you fight against it. 12, name the enemy. Identify radical Islam as the enemy. Demand that Attorney General Eric Holder stop scrubbing federal policies and communications of truly descriptive words such as, quote, terrorist and jihad and Islam, and start telling it like it is. Furthermore, don't extend the rights guaranteed to American citizens to enemy combatants. Don't prosecute them in civilian courts. Is that enough for you for right now? That's 12 of 37 ways to save America. All spelled out on pages 303 to 306, 307, 308 of the most important conservative book of the year, Trickle Up Poverty. It's all in there. I don't mince words. I don't hold anything back. How would you do it? Nick in New York on WOR. Go ahead, please.
Follow the same edits they did in World War II. I'd send out the Wolverines and execute them on the spot, and they will know there's no place safe for them.
Oh, wait. Where would you send these Wolverines? And wait a minute. In which country?
They're in Germany, and they're in Moscow, Germany. They're out to kill us. And I would work with the German government. If they didn't want to work with us, I'd work with them. Well, you
know, it's interesting that you bring up the Wolverines. First of all, you're a winner of Trickle Up Poverty. Everyone's a winner today. Anyone who gets on the show with a good call, and we're not just going to put anybody up as a winner. So you're a winner. You're going to get Trickle Up Poverty. Let me remind people of what you're talking about, Nick. You explain the Wolverines for a quick second. Go ahead. I know what it is.
They were Nazi sympathizers. These were people, Nazis, that still wanted to cause trouble for the Allies. They all
exactly. Okay, after World War II, stay on the line. You're a winner, Nick. After World War II was won, after the Germans surrendered, after Hitler was dead, after Germany was in rubble, the U.S. Army, as you know, occupied Germany, and the Russians occupied the other side of Germany. But there were holdouts. There were Nazi holdouts who went around blowing up bridges, sabotaging roads, killing American troops, and killing any German mayor, for example, who wanted to cooperate with the American allies and move Germany back to a democracy. They would actually assassinate politicians. The U.S. Army sent out hunter-killer squads of American soldiers of the type we still have, who hunted down the Nazis, and when they found them, they tied them to a post and shot them. They had the authority to kill them on the spot. Now compare that with Barack Obama's rules of engagement, where they would rather put our men on trial with a court-martial. After the fact, after a gunfight in Iraq, we've got men who are still rotting in prison. I've donated money, you've donated money to try to save them from this insanity that started under George Bush. We have to end this. We have to get rid of these lunatics running the country and destroying our military. Yeah, sure, we need Wolverines. We've got them. We've got the Special Forces. We've got the Green Berets. We've got the Army Rangers. We've got people we never heard of. Where are they? What, are they taking sensitivity training? Perhaps Janet Napolitano has them learning how to put on a burqa. You don't know what's going on in this country today under Obama. You have no idea about his attack on our borders, economy, and security, but I do. I study this for a living. You don't. Go ahead and challenge me. Make my day. Go ahead and make my day and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Go ahead. Challenge me. Tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. Go ahead. I challenge you to challenge me. Go ahead. Let's have a good debate on the Savage Nation. I've got over 35 pages of references and notes on every chapter and every fact and every statement I make in my book. Every statement in my book is backed up with a reference. I don't just throw them out there. Chapter 10, Obama's War on the Military and on National Security. There's a whole chapter. You want me to start with that one today, on Monday? The book's not out till tomorrow. I'll start reading my family stories.